What's up, guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2013 Volkswagen Passat S. Up front is a 2.5-liter inline 5-cylinder, and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Passat for two reasons. First of all, I don't drive a whole ton of Volkswagens here on the channel, so it's always fun to drive one for me. But the second reason is the fact that this is a basic car. This has almost no options on it. Besides, I believe the wheels, I'm not totally sure about that, but I think the wheels were added at a dealer. But this is a completely basic car. And so we're gonna take a look almost 12 years ago to see what a basic full-size sedan from Volkswagen was like. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that inline 5-cylinder under the hood. Well, that was special from Volkswagen. Although it was the base model here in the Passat, and you could actually get a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo as a upgrade engine, the 5-cylinder was the workhorse, and it was pretty reliable for its time. Unfortunately, they don't use 5-cylinders anymore. They just can't make them keep up with modern emission standards. But it's a pretty doggone good engine, and it doesn't sound bad either. I can't really get a good clip because this has the stock exhaust and it's not going to be loud enough. It's not bad. It's a good engine. It delivers a good amount of torque. It makes good power. It's unique. You get to tell people you have a 5-cylinder German car, and that's fun to do. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, the upper trims, the more performance-oriented trims, would come with the 6-speed DSG or dual clutch transmission. This is not that. This is a standard 6-speed, and so it doesn't have anything to prove. It's a little lazy. It hunts a little bit, but I'm not shocked by it. Last but not least, of course, the Passat is front-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Passat? Well, it has a nice, smooth, and comfy ride, even at the base level. Now, of course, there are better options out there, but for a basic automobile, again, this could be had in like the $20,000 range. I'll put the estimated 2013 MSRP up on the screen now. Again, estimated because I don't have the window sticker. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. And you can do whatever inflation calculator you want for whatever year you're watching this video. But the point is that this is nice and simple, and it was a comfy sedan for a relatively good price. And you feel that while driving it. Visibility is good. Throttle response is fine. It does take a second for that 6-speed non-dual clutch to kick down, but again, I got time today, so I'm not too worried about it. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature. Off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. And in the center, I do get a little digital screen giving me my odometer, speed, things like that. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our volume, skip track, phone options, and voice commands. And off to the right, we have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen. To the left, we have a climate control vent with our headlight switches and gauge dimmer switches, along with a little openable cubby down below. And on the door, we have lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, 2 climate control vents and a nice analog clock. Love to see that. And then we have our infotainment. So this is actually from an upgraded Tiguan that the owner found in a junkyard. This is an updated navigation screen. This is not the original base screen, just so you are aware. However, what is basic are the climate controls. Temperature off to the left, fan speed in the center, where to send it off to the right. That's it. That's all you get. Down below, we have a 12-volt outlet, and we have the shifter. You can see around the shifter, there are no buttons, all dead switches. You get no features here in the base Passat. However, the shifter itself is nice, it looks presentable, and it's held up decent over the last 11 years. Then we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Passat, and unfortunately it fails. It looks like the bottle does go in, and it goes in about an inch. However, it gets stopped by the sides of the cup holder, and it won't go down any further, and it rattles around and falls out while driving. So I can't give it a full pass. It's on its way. If it was just a little bit bigger, then it would have fit. But alas, that's okay. Then we have a center console and the seats. The seats are cloth, which is kind of weird to see in a Passat. In my brain, I always consider the Passat a luxury vehicle, but it's actually not, at least in this format, and that's evident by the seats. However, they're not uncomfortable, they're not stiff, they're not unfriendly, they're just basic, and that's okay to have. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, we're in the back of the 2013 Volkswagen Passat, and a lot of space. If you are between buying a used Jetta and a used Passat, one of the biggest differences, because they drive really similar, they have a lot of similar options, the big difference is the back seat. This is my driving position. My knees have 8 to 10 inches before hitting the seat in front of me. My head has plenty of space before hitting the ceiling. I do get cup holders back here that fold down out of the armrest. I have lights back here. This is fantastic. This is a huge, huge win over the Jetta. So again, because these cars are 11, 12 years old, they're going to be probably pretty competitively priced between the Jetta and the Passat. I would actually lean towards Passat. You get more car if you're going to pay the same price. So very, very nice to see that. Otherwise, basic back seats, cloth. I don't get any rear climate vents, although it looks like there would be a spot for them. So maybe an upper trim would, but I don't know. But yeah, this is nice. This is really, really nice back here. I'm a big fan. Speaking of which, however, let's hop out and take a look at the trunk and cargo space. All right, so little trunk button here on the key fob and pull it up the rest of the way. Nothing really too crazy back here. It is currently being wired for a backup camera. That's what that is. But nothing too crazy. You do get a pretty good amount of space. So just like the back seat, I would say that this is way more space than a Jetta. So again, if you're comparing a Jetta to a Passat on CarMax.com, cars.com, whatever, if you're looking for one, I would highly recommend the Passat just based off of rear space. So very, very nice to see. Nothing too crazy beyond that. Now we got to talk about the looks, and like I said, from what I'm told, these were optional wheels, although they are still kind of small, so I'm not so sure. However, it is black. It doesn't have any cool accents or anything like that, and the original owner put limo tints on the back, so the windows are pretty dark. This was originally a Florida car for its entire life up until recently, and so I'm excited to say that I get to be the first person to introduce this vehicle to snow. It's like watching a toddler trying to catch a snowflake. It's adorable. So it's a really, really clean car, if not anything else. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this 2013 Volkswagen Passat? Well, if you're looking to buy one, here's the bottom line. I would splurge, especially now that we're 11 years on, I would splurge for the added features. Try to get an SEL or something nicer of the sort because there were nicer options to be had. And at this point, secondhand market, it's going to be pretty much the same price, so try to find something like that. The 5-cylinder is pretty reliable, it drives nice and smooth, and it's a good car. I really, really like these. But now getting past the consumer advice, I want to talk about this particular car. As I said, it is a Florida native and was recently moved up here to the Chicagoland area after its original owner, the father of the current owner, passed away. And from the stories that I've heard from the current owner, John, he said that his dad loved this car. He bought it brand new and always toyed with the idea of buying a different car, of trading it in, of getting something newer. But he just couldn't bring himself to get rid of it. He loved this thing, and he put 96,000 miles on it. He said it rode nice. He said it was easy to drive, easy to see out of. And at the bottom line, at the end of the day, he just enjoyed it. And that's something that I want to get across. Being a reviewer, sometimes I find cars that I don't like. I find cars that I hate or despise or just can't find any love. But I want to say that that's okay. That items, cars, and people are special because they're special to you. They don't have to be special to everyone. This Passat is special because John's dad drove it every day. And now that he's gone, this is a material item that reminds him of his dad, of the fond memories, of the warm Florida sun. Our time on this planet is so finite. We don't have a whole lot of it. Sometimes it feels like we're falling down an elevator shaft, desperately trying to grasp to anything we can. And that ends up being cars or t-shirts and memories. And you know what? There's no stopping the fall. We're all falling down an elevator shaft. But it's the things that we grab onto that give us comfort, that focus our direction, maybe to something positive as opposed to the looming negative. There's a lot of negativity in this world, but there's also a lot of positivity. And so while the original owner has passed, his son John gets to drive this car and think of him, and now his memory lives on. His loved ones still carry on that legacy. So while you might be seeing a base model Volkswagen Passat, I see a family, I see heritage, I see memories, and above all, I see love. Love that doesn't stop with the physical body. That's what this car is. I'm sure you didn't expect this when you clicked on a base model Passat review, but that's how life goes sometimes. Sometimes it's more than just a car I'm driving on a snowy Thursday morning. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to John for letting me borrow his Passat for the video. But more importantly, thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan, for purchasing this car, for upkeeping this car, and keeping it tidy for its entire ownership, for now me to share with you. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that you guys smiled today. Take care, everyone.